Meteorologist Chase Menendez here. We've got a lot of snow out there, to put it lightly. We have a ton of snow still moving in, and I expect most of this snow to stick around for another, I don't know, say 2, maybe even 3 hours, depending on where you are. Odessa and Midland, we should start clearing out in the next 2 or so hours, but there is plenty on the ground. We've actually received 8 inches at MAF, our official observation station, which I believe is a single-day record. So we'll have to see if that verifies. But either way, a lot of snow out there, and it's coming on top of a layer of ice that we already got yesterday. So make sure to drive really carefully if you're going anywhere at all. If you can stay home, this is a really good day to just stay indoors. Cars are slip-sliding around out there, and it could be bad news if you're on the road. So just be really, really careful if you do have to go anywhere. But again, if you can stay home and just kind of stay warm, I think that'd be the best case. Not only are we looking at a lot of snow out there, but we also have a ton of cold air and a lot of strong winds, making it feel even colder. So we are dealing with a significant wind chill factor. It feels just very, very frigid outside. Hey, Leanne, good to see you. Now I'm going to go ahead and switch the camera around so we can see. This is where the snow is right now. You can see these blue bands, and they're lining up perfectly almost with I-20. So that means Odessa and Midland really, really getting a lot of that snow. South of I-10, not really seeing quite as much snow. We did get a little dusting in Marfa and Alpine, but you can see that most of the line, the moisture here, kind of cuts off right about there, and it's still pushing to the east. You can see behind that snowfall, really not dealing with too much in the way of additional snow flurries. But I do expect, even after most of this snow goes out of the way, we should see a little snow flurry activity, maybe a little snow drizzle, I guess you could say, to linger on for at least another couple hours after that snow gets out of the way. We are going to be seeing that snow continue tracking off to the east, but it's still coming down pretty heavily. And again, I'd estimate another, I don't know, say 2 hours. We can go ahead and measure this. We've got this little band going to Odessa. In 3 hours, it's gone 74 miles, so that's about 25 miles an hour, and it's currently right here, so it's got another 3 hours to go before it exits the viewing area, but you can see about a third of that is Odessa and Midland, so maybe 1.5 hours, 2 hours, something like that, before the snow really gets out of the way. Now, radar shows off snow depth. This is actually a filter, basically, on our satellite product that shows off how much snow is on the ground. And, yeah, it's made it up 6 to 12 inches there in that deep blue color. You can see Monahans, Grand Falls, Pecos, as well as just a lot of places, Midland, and even off to the northern part of the basin. We're still seeing some of that 6-inch snow depth. A lot of us dealing with 3 to 6 inches across the basin. But like I mentioned, south of I-10 really just got kind of a dusting, which is good news there. So if you're in Marfa, Alpine, you should be okay. It should be very pretty to look at. Road conditions not quite as hazardous as what we've got here in the basin, but at the same time, we still did get a lot of sleet south of I-10, so roads are still going to be very icy, so be on the lookout for that. Now, we can compare this to our observation stations, which I have run this graphic before, and got a couple of calls saying and some of these numbers are not entirely accurate. So keep in mind, this is basically just a bucket that's sitting out in the open, and it receives a certain amount of snow or rain or whatever, and the bucket has a meter stick on it, so you can measure exactly how many inches fall inside of the bucket. So keep in mind, it has to fall in the bucket, first of all. Second of all, it gets measured once it does so. So 8 inches in Odessa, Midland, and I'm pretty certain that's a record. 5.9 in Wink, 7.6 in Pecos, only 2 in Fort Stockton. Again, Marfa just getting a little bit of a dusting there. So we are dealing with a ton of snowfall here in Odessa, Midland, and the rest of the basin. Actually, you can see that deeper blue band going kind of northeast. That's just happened to set up overhead in Odessa, Midland, and that's the reason that we got such high snow totals. Hey, Gail, good to hear from you. Again, I'm not sure if ECISD is online, or if that's a question even. You may be telling me that it is online. Either way, yeah, we do have the closures up on our website, yourbasin.com, and I can maybe pull up a tab here in a second. But let's go ahead and look at the snow and where it's headed according to this model, which again did a pretty good job with the timing as well as the totals there. And it shows by the time we get to about 5 p.m., notice a lot of clearing right here. You can kind of see that line where the moisture is not. pushing to the east and starting to clear things out here. It's kind of got this backwards C shape, that semicircle shape. And that really is generally the pattern that we'll see with snow events here in West Texas. So it looks like it's matching up pretty well with what I'd estimate to occur. So by the time we get to 3 p.m., still a lot of snow here in Odessa Midland. This model showing off a lot of extra snow south of I-10 that's not actually in the forecast or in our observation of the satellite and radar products. But either way, you know, just kind of ignore that, I guess you could say, is kind of the best strategy to dealing with that. The models are not perfect, and that's one of the instances where it just kind of is wrong. But once we get to 7 p.m., you can see it really clearing out here in Odessa Midland and the rest of the basin. As well, once we get to about 10, 11 p.m., just before midnight, we could even start to see those clouds parting, and that would be fantastic, which would give us a sunnier day tomorrow. And this model is running on the assumption that tomorrow is going to be fairly sunny. So it does show temperatures picking up to the 20s tomorrow, which is actually not too bad. Right now we're sitting in the teens. I think this model running a little warm, but once we get to the overnight hours, look at that, single digits by even as early as, 9 p.m. We drop down into the single digits. So it's going to be a really cold night. Make sure your heater works. I hope nobody loses power, but if you do, have a plan to get somewhere in case you do lose power. And then, thankfully, this model no longer showing negative numbers, but it is still showing 1 single degree for Odessa and Midland by the time we get to 7 a.m. in the morning. So that should be our low temperature for Odessa, Midland. 1, 2 degrees sounds pretty reasonable. I've been forecasting about 2 degrees for the past couple of days now, so it seems like the models and me, we're on pretty much the same page. And if we do get some sunshine, notice those temperatures picking up fairly rapidly from 1 degree all the way up to about 10, 13 degrees by 12 noon, and then into the 20s before cooling down. Now, if we do keep that snow on the ground, the problem is that's going to inhibit our warm-up. That means we're not going to be warming up quite as quickly for tomorrow afternoon, so that's really something to watch out for, is another very cold day. But keep in mind, wind speeds are just strong. I was trying to think of another word for it, but just strong is what we're talking about here. Minus 13 when you factor in the wind chill here in Odessa Midland. Minus 5 for Wink, 6 for Hobbs, minus 6 for Seminole also. Sitting on the border, though, in the 20s, in the 30s, so not too bad south of I-10. And, of course, Marfa, Alpine, it isn't quite as cold. We haven't seen quite as much snow or ice out there to really cool things down. So we're sitting at 9 to 10 degree wind chill. But that minus 13 number here in Odessa Midland is super important. That could actually lead to frostbite if you're outside. A couple of things I never thought I'd say in West Texas. One of them is frostbite, but we could be looking at a chance for frostbite if you stand outside for, say, 30, 45 minutes. Any exposed skin is likely to get frostbite after that period of time. So make sure you cover up your fingers, make sure you cover up your nose as well as parts of your face, and wear a hat, things like that, because that absolutely could lead to frostbite. Now, as far as warnings and watches go, I don't think we've gotten any updates to this. Yeah, this one's still going actually now till midnight on Monday. That's Sunday night into Monday morning. That's tonight is when that winter storm warning expires. Still includes our entire viewing area just about, except for the Guadalupe Pass. But we do have a wind chill warning, that one lasting until Monday at 1 p.m. So we're not going to see that wind let up. We're not going to see these cold temperatures let up until Monday afternoon. So again, make sure to cover up your fingers, cover up your nose, make sure to wear a hat. Any exposed skin, make sure that it is covered up. If you have goggles even, that's not actually a terrible idea. And then, yep, here's our blizzard warning, still in effect. This one now expiring a little bit sooner, lasting until 12 midnight tonight into tomorrow morning. So make sure to look out for that. Because, again, very, very cold conditions, windy conditions, and snowy conditions through the Guadalupe Pass. So if you have a truck route or anything like that, my heart goes out to you. Be really careful out that way. Hey, Sandra, it doesn't look like we're going to see too much more snow in Hobbs. Most of that is going to be clearing out here sooner than later. It looks like you still got a little bit of light, I guess I'd call it snow drizzle, a couple of light flurries still in the area. You can see a couple of little spots right around the Hobbs area. But I don't anticipate too much more. No more snow bands to be coming through by the time we get into the evening hours. It looks like the worst of it is behind us for Hobbs. Odessa Midland, another story though. We've still got a pretty good band right here setting up, tracking off to the east, and that is going to be in play for at least another hour and a half, say maybe even 2 hours. And of course, that's going to be exiting through the east. So Big Spring, we've got say another hour and a half plus maybe 2 hours, so 3.5, maybe 4 hours before it starts clearing out in Big Spring. Creighton should have a similar timing to Odessa and Midland as well. Down to the south and east, we should be out of the way. Yeah, Rodney, unfortunately, I think the ice still going to be out there into Tuesday. Even if we get a sunny day tomorrow, we've just gotten so much snow here in Odessa Midland that I really expect most of that ice to have a hard time melting. So if we get some sunshine, it should go a long way to help that melt, but unfortunately, it's just 8 inches of snow is a lot of snow, so it's going to take a little while to melt. So I expect even by Wednesday we could even see a couple of little patches of snow still out there, not necessarily on the roads, but I would use a lot of caution tomorrow, especially Tuesday, a pretty good amount of caution, and then Wednesday, I'd just be careful, if you could put it like that. But either way, I just wanted to give you guys an update as far as the snow. Again, about another hour and a half, 2 hours here in Odessa Midland, and watch out for that wind chill because it is going to be crazy. Sandra, thank you for watching. I really appreciate y'all checking in with me. I'll be doing another Facebook Live here probably in the next couple of hours, so we'll keep the updates coming. Keep it up to our Facebook page and watch our show tonight, ABC Big 2 News at 10 Weekend Edition. It should be good. We'll have the latest look at the forecast and recap how much snow we actually did officially get here in Odessa Midland. So until then, I'll see you next time, guys. Make sure to stay warm.